what it is or it isn't. Gotta have a little trust. I don't care about tomorrow, baby, when it's just us. I love when you move like me. Move a little closer to me. I'll give you the love that you needed, the tension we're feeling. It's the energy we're making. Oh, I love it when you move it like me. Oh, love it when you move it like me. You know how I get it, I don't waste no time, waste no time. Best believe that everything falls in line, falls in line. Don't give me a second to catch my breath. No, now I'ma give it all till I got nothing left. Baby, love when you move like me. Move a little closer to me. Give you the love that you needed, the tension we're feeling. It's the energy we're making. Oh, I love it when you move it like me. Love it when you move it like me. What it is or isn't, gotta have a little trust. I don't care about tomorrow, baby, when it's just us. What it is or isn't, gotta have a little trust. I don't care about tomorrow, when it's just us. When you move like me, oh, love when you closer to me. Give you the love that you needed, the tension we're feeling. It's the energy we're making. Oh, I love it when you move it like me. Love it when you move it like me. Love it when you move it like me. Oh, love it when you move it like me.
The colors, the feeling, the full, the buzz, the full body glow from within. Treat yourself. The colors, the buzz, the colors, the buzz.
Yeah, you know, sometimes the
Yo,
music moves you and it gives you a little.
how we doing? How we doing?
Yeah, alright. But sometimes you feel it deep.
Let me turn myself down a little bit.
And it feels like.
How we doing, guys?
And sometimes
How's the day going? How's the day? We got Cork with the Pengy Wave.
And it sounds like.
What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Is it morning for you? You on the West Coast? I forget where you're from.
And it goes a little something
Are you
like
West Coast
this.
US? How we doing? I got the check this. I got the Monkey D. Luffy, baby. The Monkey D. Luffy Christmas ugly sweater. I had to do it to him today.
That shit's house music.
It's morning in my head
That shit's disco.
until I'm eating dinner.
And it goes a little something like this.
I feel like that's a strategy you can use for like when you're working. You know what I mean? Like it's a strategy you could use, like to get through the day. I feel like it's like actually kind of solid. Anyways, dinner is also. Oh, okay. So you're one of those. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Because I feel like well, actually, I feel like I might be even worse than that. A lot of times, I'll like get up like late in the day, and then sometimes I'll get up like, I don't know, 2 a.m. One of those. Yeah, see, I'm like a degenerate. Like that's me. That's my kind of person, you know.
And it goes a little something like
Just no schedule. Anyways, so today we got a new topic today for stream. So just to recap the cycle, it kind of goes like this. We got first we got topic discussion for whatever our monthly discussion will be. Then we got the topic research. That's phase 2. All right. Then we got phase 3, which is coming up with the experiment and actually like starting it. And then we have phase 4, which is reviewing the experiment that we did the month before. So last time we started an experiment and we don't have one to go over from the month before since it was the first one. So we're starting at phase 1 today. So today we're just doing a discussion, and today's discussion is going to be about fulfillment. Fulfillment. What does it mean? What does it feel like? What do we think it feels like? And also, once we have like sort of a basic understanding, maybe or maybe not, of those things, how can we achieve fulfillment? So that's what we're going to be just talking about today. I don't imagine it's going to take too long. I'm shooting for around like an hour and a half, maybe less than that. So it'll be a good time. Quick recap of last stream. We skipped Saturday. Because Saturday was at a reptile show with my dad for his birthday. It was really cool, actually. I posted a bunch of pictures in the Discord of all of the reptiles. There was like a bunch of like bugs, and I don't know what that's called, where they like position the bugs. It reminds me of Animal Crossing, but they position the bugs in like a very interesting way. They're like all splayed out perfectly and preserved. I don't know what it's called, but it's really cool because there's like ones I've never seen. They have like interesting colors. So yeah, so that's what we did on Saturday. He breeds reptiles and snakes, so he has like, I don't even know, like hundreds of snakes. Most of them are rosy boas. That's his like favorite snake. So he does like all sorts of different variations of rosy boas and then goes to shows every now and then and sells them, but he mostly just does it because he likes it. So yeah. So that's what we did on Saturday. It was a good time. I took a bunch of pictures and stuff. I actually had a big breakthrough this week with the experiment, the first experiment, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting the first week to be like really chill, and I was actually expecting like the first experiment like not much to happen for me. Trying to figure out what that bug thing is called. Yeah, no, I don't know what that is. But you know what I'm talking about, right? Where they like display, like they put bugs in displays. Yeah, I don't know what that's called. There's got to be like some scientific name for it though. Yeah, so yesterday or today. Well, I guess today technically marks the first day of our first week of our first experiment. So for me, I chose our first core value, which was bug taxidermy. Yes. But is there a name for bug taxidermy, or is it literally just bug taxidermy? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so so first week of the first experiment. It was really fun. Last week I had a really great time last stream. I felt like there was like a lot of good discussion from it. Everyone picked different stuff. And yeah, so during the week, as I was thinking of my first value, which was loyalty, I had this big breakthrough. And I posted about it on Patreon, like in detail, but I was not expecting in my first week, and I'm gonna go over it again, like in detail when we go over the results. So I'm not gonna talk about it in depth right now, but I was surprised. I didn't think I was gonna have like any big breakthroughs in my first week. I was expecting like basically nothing, because that's often what happens, is like nothing really happens for a while, and then all of a sudden everything seems to happen at once. But yeah, I just something big happened actually, so that was cool. So yeah, today we're talking about fulfillment, what it means, and then next week we're gonna start researching what to do in order to like actually achieve fulfillment. Like, what do people that feel fulfilled, what are they doing? Like, what is fulfillment scientifically? All of those things, and see all of the different ways in which people think they can become fulfilled, because it's such a subjective thing too, you know? You mean your loyalty was tested organically? No. I mean, kind of. In a way. I guess you could say that. Instead of like, because it's easy for me to be loyal to like other people, right? And so what I ended up deciding to do actually was to be loyal to myself. So I first like decided, okay, I'm gonna define loyalty, and so in the definition I included like other people, of course, and like other concepts, but I also included myself, which was not something I was planning on doing. And so because I did that, it had like a really nice ripple effect. Netflix raised their subscription fee, and I stayed loyal and subscribed. My guy. That's funny, dude. Hey, you know what? That's your definition, then boom, that counts. Wait, what was your first? Do you remember what you picked for your first? Trying to remember what your four were. I don't remember everybody's four or anything, but what was your first value you had? Anyways, so before we get into fulfillment and all that good stuff, I'm gonna talk about the question of the day, baby. Oh my god, and I almost forgot to say, it's meant to be Monday. Dude, I love doing that. That's never gonna get old for me. So yeah, question of the day today. Question of the day. Dude, actually coming up with question of the day is so difficult. Your horns go off. I actually need that. I wanted to have like sirens going while I did it, but it was too much effort at the time. So all I put up was meant to be Monday and then like a little red filter. Yeah, I couldn't figure out how to make it go off at the same time. I'm sure there's a way for me to do it, but I need to figure it out. It feels like you can throw a barrel. Man, you really just want me to bring back that barrel roll, don't you? All right. So yeah, question of the day today. Coming up with the question of the day actually takes me way too much time. It's something I realized, because I already have so many questions planned for the stream. So like, for example, today we're going to be talking about what is fulfillment, and then there's like a bunch of associated questions with what is fulfillment. Like, how do you define fulfillment? What does fulfillment feel like? Is it a feeling? Is it a perspective? And then we're going to talk about like, what do you need to do in order to feel fulfilled? Do you know anyone who's fulfilled? So I already have like a bajillion questions that I have to come up with. And so the question of the day has to be something that is like related, but not literally what we're talking about. So it actually takes me a really long time to come up with the question of the day. But anyway, without further ado, question of the day today is, what is something small that makes your day feel meaningful? Happy! Hey, what's up, Happy? How are you? Early stream today, so I'm glad you could make it. How are you, Happy? All right, so I'm gonna throw the question of the day in the chat. What is something small that makes your day meaningful? I'll give you guys a second to answer if you feel like answering. You're good, and me, I'm doing great. I just had a nap like 30 minutes before starting stream, so I am feeling refreshed. I'm feeling good. I got my Christmas ugly sweater on. It's One Piece themed, if you can't tell from my boy on the front. And then I'm going to get some dinner later. It's gonna be a good time. You got anything cool going on today? Anything cool going on? The time switch fucked me up yesterday. Were you like tired? I'm assuming. I'm gonna sit down while we're let me just get my standing desk to lower itself. Not to flex on you guys or anything. Oh, I forgot to mention this. I posted my first I'll get to the message in 1 second before I forget this thought. I posted my first like short form content video that is like gaming DBD, like Dead by Daylight stuff, and it took me so fucking long to edit it. I need to figure out a easier way to do it, because I combed through like 4 hours of a gaming stream, and it was just so difficult to get through because I don't know how to edit as well, so it takes so long for me to just do like anything, right? And yeah, and then I posted it, and I keep fucking up how I post it on TikTok, so it doesn't like get sent to anybody. But I put it out on YouTube and whatnot, and it did pretty well on YouTube, so I'm happy about that. All right, let's see. You bitch. Oh, another bot. Ban it. Easy going. Wow, why is your name so fucking long? Is that intentional? I feel like it is. What? What the heck? It doesn't let me ban them. It says you're trying to ban someone that doesn't exist. I did. Whatever. All right. Order to ban. Yeah, it says I'm trying to ban someone that doesn't exist. They like fuck with their name so that I can't. Let me try and like copy paste it maybe. I'll try doing this maybe. Didn't work either. Motherfucker. All right, let's see. Your first was integrity / conviction. Right. Okay, I remember now that you say it. Or whatever you call it. Basically, sticking to my word and meaning what I say. And this week, a friend group asked me if I wanted to buy and play this new game, but I wasn't interested, so I declined. Then the next day, another group asked me to play that same game, and even though I kinda didn't want to play with that group, I declined them too to stay true to the first group. Hey, fuck both of them, honestly. Yeah, all right. So that's interesting. How do you feel about declining both of them? Do you feel like that was important, that because you said no to the first group, you had to say no to the second group? Or do you feel like maybe you Like, what was that, like, taking it too far, maybe? What do you think? Yeah, by 10 p.m. I was already dead, lol. Yeah. Okay. If you need help with that, I can help. Yeah, what the heck? How do you ban people that do that? It says here, like, it literally says possible ban evader. Like, when they message, it says possible ban evader. Like, so they're just a known expert on this? How does my software know that they're a ban evader? You know what I mean? Right click their name. I'll have to do it on Twitch. Ban. Get banned, bitch. Alright, that worked. Thank you. I feel like I get those all the time too. I feel like I get them all the time. Like, people just come in to, like, people with, like, very few viewers, and they're just like, hey, get fucked. And I don't see it happening with, like, bigger people, so I wonder if they have, like, an automated system or just, like, a bunch of moderators. It would be an insult to the first group. Do they know each other? Because that... Maybe that... Okay, I can see that. Like, if the first group knows the second group... Yeah, that'd be kind of mean. If they, like, were like, hey, well, we just asked you yesterday. You know? Don't you have 3 buttons next to their name in Twitch? Yeah, I was trying to do it through the software, like, just type in the software, but it didn't work in there, so... Yeah, Twitch makes it easier to do, though. Like, when I went on Twitch, I could just click a button. Yeah, you can set automod. Okay, I'll have to do that. First group might never know, but that's the point. I would get away with it, but that doesn't make it okay. Wow, based. I like that. I like that. Yeah, that was something I discovered, like, really quickly, and I feel like we talked about that last stream too. Was the values were a bit vague, like, just because they're so broad. Like, I was just thinking now how, like, loyalty and conviction, like, kind of tie together, because in a way you're, like, staying loyal to the first group too, you could argue. So that's why I felt like I had to make my definition of it specific. Like, I had to make it specific. A lot of them overlap, right? Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, okay, I feel like I have to make a definition for it, or make mine, like, very specific, so that I'm not working on, like, 5 things, or, like, have this huge definition that's impossible to maintain. You know what I mean? So that was the first thing I did, actually. Was after the first day or two, I was like, yeah, I, like, don't know exactly what I'm gonna be working on here. So I was like, I need to make a definition, like, make this just a little bit more specific. And I did like doing that. I did like doing that. So, all right. So let's move on. Let's move on to... Oh wait, I didn't answer the question of the day. All right, yeah, question of the day. So what's something small that makes your day feel meaningful? Something small for me? And I love it. I love it. Is tea. I love tea. A little hot bev. A little hot bev on the tip of my tongue. Ooh, I'm like Winnie the Pooh's honey, baby. That is the shit. That is the shit. For me, it's food. That's perfect. That's perfect. That's just like me with tea. Ooh. What's your favorite food? Oh, now I'm gonna get sidetracked and just talk about food and drinks all stream now. Other thing that happened this week is I committed. Did someone say tea? Someone said tea! I'm not gonna lie. What's up? What's up? Is it Audrey? I saw you followed me randomly, and I was like, first of all, how the fuck did you find me? And then, secondly, though, I checked out your channel and I watched like a decent bit of your last VOD. You have a really cool channel, by the way. Adri, the first one, nice. I'm gonna shout you out real quick. I'm gonna shout you out. I haven't used that in so long. Nice, it still works. Goated streamer. But yes, I checked out your channel. It's really cool. It's really cool. You talk about a lot of tea, and boy, oh, do I love me some tea, baby. One of the things I enjoyed about Adri's channel, they got me going. She like started it by saying something like, I might mess this up, but it was like the stream where we give you the herbal and the verbal tea, and I was like, oh, that's bars. That's fire. That was fire. I'm on a hiatus too. Wasn't in my normal setup. Wonder which VOD you watched. I just watched, I think it was the one that came up first. Just whichever one came up first, I just started watching it. You weren't in your normal setup. And I know that because you mentioned it. You know it. Yeah, that was sick. That was a sick bar, honestly. But yeah, I love what you're doing with your channel. I checked it out. It was cool. How the hell did you find me? That's what I was wondering, because you followed me like not during a stream, and I don't remember posting anything. Also, this song is hella weird, as are most of my songs. But maybe I should play something a little bit more normal. Fuck it, we'll go with Joji, the new Joji song. Just took a mental health break, but getting back into it in a bit. Let's go. Nice. Nice. Think I found you from the tag mental health problem. Wow. Okay, so people actually look at the tags. I didn't know if that was a thing or not. Cool. Cool. Very cool. Well, thanks for popping by. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate that. So Adri, every stream I do a question of the day. Today we're talking about fulfillment, all right? And so I wanted to make it something that was related, but not literally what we're talking about. So today's question of the day, if you would like to answer it, which is what I was talking about when you joined, was what is something small that makes your day meaningful? What is it? For me, it's tea, baby. It's tea. Oh wait, I missed some of Quark's messages as I got excited about tea. My vice, tea. Other thing that happened this week is I committed to being a part of these streams. Nice. I've got you. You can't leave now. You committed, bitch. Oh, my evil plans. Even though it's scheduled this one for the middle of my workday, stayed true to my commitment and showed up here instead of doing the work I'm supposed to be doing. More important than work. Got him. Got you. Hell yeah. That was definitely a good decision. Looking for more mental health streamers. Yeah, I remember when I started thinking about doing mental health streaming, I was trying to find different ones that were like doing different things, and I felt like I couldn't really find that many, and it kind of like motivated me to do it even more. So when you followed me and I checked out your channel, I was actually pretty happy about it. Because like the only one that I know, well, there's a few that I know, but the only like really big one that I can think of is Dr. K. If you know who Dr. K is, and I love Dr. K. Dr. K, my boy. Tags other than feet work? Cool. Love Dr. K, he's the GOAT. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I love watching his videos. I don't really watch a lot of his streams, but watch a lot of his videos. Yeah. Also, yeah, if you don't know, for the tags, oh wait, I need to put it back up. but I had feet on there because I was watching a Dead by Daylight streamer. Dead by Daylight's a game, but I was watching a Dead by Daylight streamer, and she had the feet tag, and she was like, by far, the most people that have used the tags to find me have been with the feet tag, and she does nothing with her feet on stream. Absolutely nothing. Like, never shows her feet, not... But I guess a lot of people search feet. So it was not even close too. She like showed the analytics on stream. It was like 5,000 for feet, and then the next one was like 100 for whatever the next normal one was. Boba tea, honestly, respect. What's your boba tea order? Mine is Thai tea. I usually go with like 70% sweetness, even though that, I mean, that's a little sweet for a lot of people still, but I don't know. I just love loading my shit with sugar. You know what I'm saying? Not too many of us, always looking for more. Yeah, honestly, if you know more, feel free to shoot them my way. If you know some cool ones. ADHD is one of the biggest tags too. Damn. Well, I do not have ADHD. I don't think so. At least. But so I feel like I can't use that tag because I don't really talk about it. You know. Don't have an experience with it. Ooh, depends on my mood. I go half sweet usually. Lychee Rose is one of my go-tos. Ooh, that sounds nice. Yeah. For me, I go with Thai tea. Sometimes I go with like a strawberry milk tea, but strawberry milk tea is like, it always tastes so fake. So I have to like really be feeling degenerate to get that. But yeah, for me, something small and meaningful is my tea. Melon tea, 30% sweetness. I don't think I've tried melon. Melon tea. Do you get boba with your melon tea? I feel like that would go nice with the melon. Gotta find the good places. Yeah, I live in the middle of nowhere, so I can't even get boba tea where I'm at. Unless I drive like 45 minutes. But that's just so long for boba tea. I do it sometimes though. Because I am committed. I'm a committed man to my tea. But I am a bougie bitch with my regular tea too. So I get like all of my shit is loose leaf. And I probably have like 100 different loose leaf teas, and I keep buying more. I just realized, this is a crazy random thought. Maybe I do have ADHD. Crazy random thought. But last night I had a dream that I was at like some convention and they were selling a one-piece tea, and it was like this crazy variety of teas, and it was hella expensive. And I got it anyways because I'm stupid. And that was the entire dream, and I didn't try it. But oh, what kind of melon? Honeydew or winter melon? That one's good. Oh, I feel like I've had honeydew. I think I've had honeydew. Relatable, but also doesn't sound like a problem to me. Yeah. I think like every day I start off with a black tea. Usually, what I get like I rotate between a few of them. I got my cinnamon black. I feel like there's something else in there. No, yeah, orange cinnamon black tea is like one of my go-tos. Usually I have that one in like the fall/winter time. And then I also, this one is the one I have the most by far, like an international or like a breakfast, English breakfast tea. This is the one I probably have the most of, one of those two. And then the last one I have, if I like really want something sweet in the morning, it's like I think it's called Lady Grey à la Crème. And it's like a lavender cream black tea. Oh, I'm salivating just thinking about it. I have a few places near me I get honeydew with strawberry bublés. Ooh, those are interesting. I've had those recently. Those are like the ones that like pop. You like bite them and they're just like little bubbles filled with juice. And those are pretty yummy. I love tea when it's cold and sweet and comes in a can labeled brisk. Ah, man of culture, I see. Man of culture. Yes. This guy is refined. Ooh, the popping boba. I gotta go OG or baby boba. Baby boba. That's a mouthful right there. Baby boba. Baby boba bubbles. Yeah. I feel like I haven't had the baby boba ones. Maybe I have. I've had so many different kinds of bobas in my day. But yeah, I've tried the like fruity ones, and I really have to be in the mood for a fruity bubble one. I really have to be in the mood for it. Otherwise, I'm always going with the OG tapioca pearl. That one. I really also like when they do the it's like a brown sugar syrup that they put on the boba balls. I had a brain fart. Yeah, the tapioca on the tapioca pearls, the brown sugar. Ooh, that's yummy. I like that. But yeah, that's my answer to the question of the day. Something small and meaningful. And I feel like you can really get creative with tea too, because there's so many different kinds. So like in the afternoon, you can have like a focus tea, you know, maybe like a green or a white. Get yourself in the mood for whatever work you maybe don't want to do for the day. And then in the evening, you know, maybe you settle in with a nice little herbal, like a little chamomile. If you're sick, maybe a chamomile with like honey. Ooh. Yeah. God, I love tea. Anyways, okay, I need to move on to the actual topic of the day here. So, today's stream topic, fulfillment. So let me move around my screens a bit, so I'm not constantly looking over at my notes. All right. Love the tea talk. Well, yeah. Honestly, I couldn't have had a more perfect person come in for that answer to the question of the day. Because I feel like there's not many people who love tea like that. You know what I mean? With lunch, you can have a can of brisk, and then with dinner, you can pour a can of brisk into a glass. Maybe throw in a couple ice cubes. Square, of course. We don't fuck with circles. I hate how I have to go to my car appointment. I'll be back if I'm out in time. Hey, no worries. No worries. Do your car appointment. I'm so happy you popped in just to say hello. Hope your car appointment goes well. And then also you can watch the VOD if you can't make it back. It's all good. I like boba to be fruited, or I get matcha for cold tea. Hot tea, I just like OG black with no sugar. Oh my god, you're one of those people that is like just balls to the wall. I feel like you're one of those manly men. You know? I feel like whenever someone is like, and they can be a woman too when they say this, when they're like, yeah, I just like my coffee black. Just like it black. Just drink it raw, straight out the mug, you know? Whenever I hear someone say that, I'm like, god damn, you are a manly man. Because I cannot do that. I mean, I can. Honestly, I could. Like, I have drank my tea like black before, and it is still enjoyable. However, loading that bitch with sugar, you know what I mean? It's a little miniature nut. It's what I grew up drinking, or mint tea. Oh, a nice peppermint tea. Whew. Don't get me going. Don't get me started again on my tea. God damn. All right. So yeah, fulfillment is one of those things for me where it feels so out of reach. It feels so out of reach for me. It feels like I can conceptualize it a bit. Like I can see other people where they seem fulfilled, but I'm like that seems something that is not. It seems like something I cannot do. Like that is not something I will ever be able to obtain. I won't be able to feel that. So to me, it feels like this like oddly impossible thing, right? And it's weird because at the same time, do you guys, maybe you guys feel like this too, but at the same time, I feel like I should be grateful for where I'm at. Like I should, you know, I got a great family. I got some good friends, you know. I'm comfy, you know. I'm stable. I got a lot to be like grateful for in a way. And so when I think about it, I'm like, why am I not fulfilled? Do you guys get like that where it's like, why am I not? I'm gonna turn the music off. It's distracting me. But yeah, do you guys get like that where you think about fulfillment and you're like, I don't feel fulfilled, but also like my life isn't bad. It's not, it doesn't suck, you know? Like it could be a lot worse. And then you kind of feel bad that you're not fulfilled. That's kind of like where I'm at a lot of times. Oh man, I just saw more boba talk. Boba. I like boba to be fruity, or I get matcha for cold tea. Hot tea, I like just... Oh, wait, I read that one already. It's what I grew up... I read that one too. What is wrong with me? Black coffee is for FBI agents sent to small rural towns under mysterious circumstances. Honestly, like, I feel like... you know what just popped into my head reading that was... who's that guy from Stranger Things? Like, the detective, the cop guy, who drinks just straight black... I actually don't even know if he does. I don't even know if he does. But he's like so burly and manly, and he just like smokes all the time. That's the guy that came to mind when I read that. I was like, that's the kind of person that I think of when I think of a person that that drinks black coffee. Yeah, just a manly man, you know? So yeah. I feel like too, a lot of times with fulfillment, I'll think about like, okay, I'm doing all these things. Like I'm doing, like, for example, right now I'm doing the stream, I'm working out. I'm looking for a job. I don't have a job yet, but I'm looking for a job. I'm doing all these different things, and it feels like things are like kind of going in a good direction, but I still like have this like looming feeling of like emptiness and not fun in my life too at the same time. Do you guys get like that too? Just like maybe you feel like things are going great, like you should feel good, like you should feel okay, but you're just like, I don't feel fulfilled though. I don't feel fulfilled. Having things to be grateful for doesn't mean you feel fulfilled though. Maybe fulfillment comes from doing something meaningful with those gifts, taking the good situation you're in and doing something good with it. Yeah. That's an interesting perspective. I like that perspective. And now I'm curious, after reading that, it's kind of like a natural segue. How would you define fulfillment? Like, what does fulfillment mean to you? Like, how would you define it? I have my own definition. That I wrote down myself, that I'm going to go over in a little bit, but I'm interested to see what you would define it as, or however you want to put it. So anyway, here's the goal of the stream today. Basically, by the end of it, we want to accomplish 3 things, very simple, to have a better understanding of what fulfillment means to each of us individually, okay? So just to not have the answers, but to have an understanding of it, of what it means to us. That's objective number 1. Objective number 2, we want to understand how fulfillment feels to each of us. Like, what does it feel like? So we're going to go over that. That'll be our second objective. And then our last objective is we're going to, after we kind of have a better understanding of what it feels like and what it is a little bit, maybe, we're going to try and figure out what we can do to possibly obtain it. Like, when we think about it, what is that going to look like for us? So yeah, very easy. 3 simple objectives. So let's get started. Yeah, so just to keep those 3 questions in mind, I thought it would be a good idea to put up the questions on screen when we talk about them, so I will in a second. So yeah, let's put them up now. Let's put them up now. So I just have a little Word document. It's nothing special, guys. It's nothing special, but just to keep us on track, just so we know where we're at. Oh no, my camera. Where did I go? Oh, I'm lost. I'm back. But I have a weird other thing on my screen that I don't need. Goodbye. Okay, there we go. Cool. All right. So, in your own words, what is fulfillment, baby? Completing an order. Almost like you feel like you're underutilizing the potential of your good situation. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's easy to feel that way because I guess for me, I always feel like I'm underutilizing the potential of my situation, right? So I feel like that is something I can agree with, but it also feels like a trap I can put myself into as well at the same time. So, like for me, when I say that, I think, okay, whenever I'm doing anything, I always think I could be doing more with whatever I'm doing. So, like with streaming, for example, and this is a big reason why the first time I was streaming, it was so difficult for me, was because I would always be thinking, whenever I wasn't streaming, I would be thinking, I need to be doing something that is related to stream. Otherwise, I am not doing a good job. So like, and that's how it is like with pretty much everything in my life, right? So I'll think like, okay, with like applying to jobs, like right now, I'll think, all right, so if I send out 10 applications a day, I'll think, okay, but I could have sent out 20. But what I also could have done instead of just sending out 20 is I could have followed up with the 10 that I sent an application to, like called them, or I could have went to them if they were a local place, or I could have looked and see who their hiring manager was, and then I could have messaged the hiring manager and said I'm interested in the position so that they like, you see what I mean? So it like snowballs with like everything where it's like, okay, I'm in a good situation, right? But I could be doing more. Like I could be making a better use of this situation. So I agree with what you're saying, but I also feel like I take it too far at the same time. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people could do. So then the question becomes, how much is enough? When will I be satisfied? Exactly. Yes. That is exactly the next question. So yeah, that is the next question. So I think that is what I will think next when I realize, okay, well, how much is enough? Am I ever going to feel like it's enough, right? And this is directly tied to what we're talking about with fulfillment, right? And that's part of the reason why when I said earlier, it feels like something that is like out of reach, like impossible to achieve. Because when I think about fulfillment, I see people that like, the only people I can even think of that seem to be fulfilled are like the Dalai Lama, right? Or like Buddha, or like I don't know. Usually it's like a spiritual figure or a fictional character or something like that. Like I feel like I don't know anyone who has reached a level where they're just totally fulfilled with their lives in real life. You know what I mean? Um, and when I think about what it means to me, I think, okay, well, there's no way I can get to that point. There's no way I can get to this level where I just feel content. Yeah. So that is the next question, and that is one I struggle with. So yes, did anyone put in a in your own words, what is fulfillment? Did anyone have an answer for that? I don't think so. But I will say what mine was. Mine, the one that I wrote down, and obviously these don't have to be perfect. Like you don't have to have the perfect definition of what fulfillment is, or or anything like that. It's just like what comes to your mind first. And so for me, what came to mind for me was a sustained feeling in which you are content with the direction of your life or the current status of your life. Okay. So I'm going to put that on our page. And if anyone else has like a different definition or like a varied definition, feel free to drop it. I'll add it to the answers. All right. But for now, I'll put that up there. But yeah, so I feel like fulfillment is not just a feeling. It seems to me like it's a state of being almost, where you're just like generally good with how things are going. You don't really need anything else. You don't have like an attachment to any sort of desire or outcome. You're just kind of like chilling with your life. That's what it feels like to me. And so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And I feel like this definition could change. This definition could change, but that's what it is right now at the start of, as we start discussing it, this is what I feel like it is, but it might change when we get to like researching it, and then when we start the experiment, it might change. So fulfillment sounds like an ending. Maybe it's something we chase for our whole lives, and we should be trying to enjoy the chase itself. We'll be fulfilled when we're dead. Interesting. I know a lot of people have that kind of mantra where it's like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, basically. Where it's like, I don't need to sleep. Like, you know, work hard. You know, the hustle, baby. And it's true when I think about who is fulfilled and these people, I feel like it's usually older people that I can think of where it seems like they're already done, like they're fulfilled, like they have achieved whatever they wanted to. But I don't think you have to be old to be totally fulfilled, you know? I don't think that's a requirement, because I feel like when I think about achievement, right, at the end of your life, I feel like that shouldn't be a prerequisite for that feeling. Like you shouldn't have to. It feels like an external thing, and that feels wrong to me. It feels wrong. What comes after being fulfilled? I don't know, dude. A fat nut? I have no idea. What do you think? What do you think comes after being fulfilled? It's an interesting question. Personally, a fat nut for me. You can nut on the way there. I'm nutting the whole way, baby. No one's stopping me. All right. So yeah, that's kind of my definition right there. I'm gonna write down what you said, which is, oops, I opened up the wrong thing. All right, you said it's kind of like an end, right? So fulfillment is kind of like an end. Maybe it's something we chase. Maybe something we chase. But also maybe we should be enjoying the chase itself. I think that's a big part of it too, is enjoying like the journey, you know, even though it sounds kind of cliche. Like it sounds kind of cliche to be like, oh, just enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. But again, I feel like when you think of these people that have reached this like level of enlightenment and fulfillment, like they weren't attached to being enlightened or being fulfilled. It just kind of happened for them, and they weren't attached to whatever may have happened, like success or achievement in their life. It also just kind of like may have happened, may not have happened, and they were just kind of chill with it, you know? So yeah, I think maybe enjoying the chase itself could be a big part of it. That could be a big part of it, like you said. So yes, yes. Let's see. Okay, so I have another question. Because one experience, like for me personally, when I think about this next one, how fulfillment feels, before we answer that, I want to know if anyone has felt fulfillment before. If you have felt it, what was going on? What was going on during that time when you felt fulfilled? Was it just like a brief moment, or was it like an amount of time, like maybe a month where you felt it, or maybe like a year? Like, what was going on that made you feel that way, if you have experienced it? Like, how have you experienced it in the past? Because for me personally, I feel like I very, very rarely experienced what I would consider a moment of fulfillment. So I would say I could probably count on less. I could probably count on my one hand, honestly, how many times. And I can probably recall them. I'm actually gonna try and do that. So I think the first time I felt fulfilled was well, one of them was with streaming the first time. So I remember there was a brief time with streaming during the first bit where I felt like I was doing what I wanted to do. I felt like I was providing like a source of entertainment for people, which felt good. I was getting like external validation from like my friends as well, which isn't important, but it was like fueling this sense of fulfillment. And then also, I was, we were raising money for charity, so that also felt like it had like a big purpose behind it. And so during, I would say the first few months of streaming, the first time I really felt like, oof, man, this is nice. And then as we know, major depressive episode hit like 2 months after that. And then my perspective shifted a bit. But during that first few months, yeah, I would say that was one of the first times I felt fulfillment. And then, man, I'm trying to think if there even is another time. I would say I get a brief sense of it. If I like document all of the things I've accomplished during a week or a month or something, if I write it all down and track it and then look back and I feel like it's a big list, I'll feel a big sense of accomplishment, but it doesn't feel like fulfillment. It just feels close to it. And honestly, that's like really it. Like those are the only times I've really felt it. Fulfillment is the goal. It's the last scene before the credits. But who puts on a movie to watch just the last scene? True. The enjoyment comes from seeing the whole story unfold. True. True. What a metaphor. Damn. Cork with the deepness. All right. So yeah. Yeah, I feel like I haven't felt fulfillment. So I'm wondering if anyone else has felt that. If anyone else has felt fulfillment, or if they've felt like a even if it's for like a brief moment. Like what was happening when you felt it? All right. So let's move on to this next part. So for me, how does fulfillment feel? Man, I got like a lot of burps today. Um, fulfillment. For me, it feels like it's like very similar to contentment for me. So for me, when I think of fulfillment, I think of contentment. And it kind of ties into my definition where it's like a sustained feeling of contentment. Um, it feels like everything in the moment is just good. Like nothing is going poorly. It just feels so rare to me. But it also to me feels unachievable. So I'm gonna write that as well. Feels unachievable. Like when I think of being content, I can't even like imagine just being content like for a sustained amount of time. Because it also to me seems like in order to be content, you have to not have like a desire to do things. So there's like what's the word I'm looking for where it's like you don't have an attachment to something. Whatever. Not attached to outcomes or like results, right? So I feel like that's why it feels impossible to me, because how can you not have an attachment to like an outcome but still want to work on an outcome and still like care about it? I feel like that's really hard to do, if not impossible. That's part of the reason why I feel like it's not achievable. The other reason it feels not achievable is because I feel like I don't have a strong definition of fulfillment. Like I don't have a strong understanding of it. That makes sense. Personally, I won't be fulfilled until I've created a piece of art. Ooh, piece of art. Okay. Keeping it vague. I literally said keeping it vague. That I plan to make over the next 10 years. Woo! Sheesh. That's a long project. If I can accomplish that and I don't feel fulfilled afterwards, then I'll know that I never will. Wow. As for number 2, I think I've felt slivers of it, yeah, while creating things when I was younger, but nothing nearly as significant as this project I'm planning. How long have you been planning that project? It's curious. Oh, sorry, that wasn't for number 2. It was for the have you ever felt it question. Okay, yeah, I gathered. Okay, yeah, interesting. A piece of art. Yeah, so I wonder when you finish this grand piece of art, what are you gonna feel afterwards? Because I feel like a lot of times too, when I finish like a big project, of course, like not like a 10-year project, but a pretty big project, in relation to that, I feel like a lot of times I'll be like, that didn't feel like the way I thought it would. Like I didn't feel like this grand sense of fulfillment or accomplishment or whatever I was expecting. It didn't hit me. Like I didn't have that like hit of dopamine that I thought I was gonna have. And actually what this is reminding me of is RuneScape. A lot of things in RuneScape take a really long time. And so one thing I wanted to do when I started, which was a really long-term goal, right? It took years, was to hit 99 in all the skills, okay? I did that. And I remember I hit it and I was like, I just didn't feel anything really. I was like, cool. All right, what's the next goal? Like I didn't feel like, wow, like that took a long time. I feel good. Like I feel accomplished or anything. But afterwards I was like, this is just a game. It's just a game and like people do this. I don't know. There's like all these things where I just like justified why it wasn't a cool thing or like why it wasn't worth feeling a sense of accomplishment or like any good things from it. So afterwards, I was just like, whatever. So I wonder for you, what you think it's gonna feel like when you finally finish that. The feeling I hope to get is I've finally created something now. I've put something into the world that will outlive me. Now when I die, I can rest easy knowing this thing will live on. Ah, yes. Goes back to what you were saying last stream with legacy. Interesting. Why is legacy important to you? That's a question. Why is being remembered, I guess, after you die important? Okay. While you're answering that, I'm gonna keep rolling here. So yeah, to me it feels like unachievable, feels like it's out of reach. And I just feel like it's not something that's like, I feel like it's not possible for me for some reason. And I've always had that kind of like lingering feeling ever since I was like a teenager. Uh, so that's kind of where I'm at with how does it feel when I think about it. Um, yeah. Let me see if I'm missing anything here. All right. So I guess another question that's kind of like a sub question of this is, why does it feel impossible to achieve? And what's interesting about fulfillment in like modern society is most people don't feel like they're fulfilled. So over half of people would say they have like maybe some level of fulfillment, but they don't feel like they're totally fulfilled. Um, which is interesting because, you know, life has gotten easier over time. Uh, well, I mean, it should be getting easier, right? But is it getting easier? That's another question. But yeah, so why does it feel so impossible to achieve, and why do so many people, despite things like supposedly getting easier, why is it still difficult to feel that sense of achievement? Is it even harder now than it was before too? And so I think it'd be interesting to take a second and ask, like, how fulfilled do you think you are right now in this moment? So like on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is not fulfilled, like you were totally unfulfilled with your life. 5 would be you're not necessarily feeling fulfilled, but you're not feeling like you're unfulfilled either. You're just kind of in the middle. And then 10 is like you are totally fulfilled. Okay. So scale of 1 to 10, how fulfilled or unfulfilled do you feel in the moment? I guess for me, I would say I'm probably around a 2, probably around a 2 or a 3 is what I feel. I'm going to write that down as like a sub question here. How fulfilled do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? I'll write down my answer too, and I'll write down 2 or 3. Let's say 2.5. How about that? 2.5. The reason I say 2.5 is because I feel like I'm missing a lot of things. When I picture what fulfillment might look like for me, and like what I might look like if I was fulfilled, which we'll be getting to in a second. But when I try to picture it, I see a lot of things that I don't have. And so, and of course there are a few things that I do have, which is why I didn't give myself like a 1 for example. So yeah, that's why I'm giving myself a 2.5. 2.5. You're like a 3. All right. So Cork's a 3. Okay. One of my favorite quotes is, every man has 2 deaths when he is buried in the ground, and the last time someone says his name. Where's that from? Is that from I feel like that's from Coco. Is that from Coco? I know that's a concept that's in Coco, the movie. Because like I know in the movie, I've only watched it once, so I might not even remember right, but they go into, what is it called, the land of the dead or something, when they die, and then when they're in the land of the dead, like you also kind of age when you're there depending on how many people talk about you or something. And then when the last person forgets you, you die again. It's attributed to Hemingway. Still haven't seen. You need to watch it then. Like, that's your jam right there. That's your jam. I feel like you would enjoy it. Yeah. It's interesting. It's a really good movie too. Like a lot of people who are like Pixar enjoyers, they really like it. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it's enjoyable. It's an enjoyable watch. Good music. Story's fun. I think you'd enjoy it if that's, I mean, if that's one of your favorite quotes. So yeah. So is that why it's important though? Is that why legacy is important to you? Because of that quote? I wonder. All right. So yeah, why does it feel impossible to achieve, right? Why does fulfillment feel impossible to achieve? So this will be like another sub question. Oops. Another sub question. And I think this has a lot of answers. And if anyone has answers to this question, why fulfillment feels impossible to achieve right now, or feels not impossible, but at least very hard to achieve for like the average person, throw them in the chat. I think one answer is really simple. And it's because we're aware that it exists. We're more aware now that the feeling of, or like the concept, I should say, the concept of fulfillment exists, you know? Like before, you know, when back in the day, you could say, like a lot of people weren't thinking about what they needed to do to be fulfilled. They were just trying to survive. And that was enough. Like striving to live was just enough of a reason to push on, to work hard, to keep going. Now that's not a struggle for a lot of people. Of course it is for, you know, just depending on where you live, but in your circumstances. But for a lot of people, it's not hard. Like in the US, it's one of the most, the wealthiest countries in the world. There's still people that struggle to live and survive and whatnot. But, you know, they still struggle with finding fulfillment, even though we're one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Basically, I know I will never have children or be married or anything. So the only way I will be remembered or cared about after I'm gone is to create something that will resonate with people I'll never meet. Okay. So I have another question for you then. Is it important to be remembered and cared for after you're gone, and why? Why is it important for you to be remembered and cared for after you're gone? Like if you were not remembered after you were gone or cared for by anyone, what kind of impact would that have on you? You know? Interesting stuff. So yeah, I think one reason why it feels impossible to achieve, or feels harder to achieve now, is because we're just simply more aware that fulfillment is a thing. I think that's like a very easy answer. I think another reason is people are becoming more lonely. Like lonelier than ever. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One is social media. But with social media, you're getting less intentional relationships. So the like relationship depth is not as yeah, so like the depth of relationships, I worded this kind of poorly, but the depth of relationships is not as good as it was before, you know? Like a lot of times we go on social media because we want to have some sort of social interaction. So we satisfy that by like looking at people's posts. Maybe we just like something, or maybe we comment something, then we're like, okay, we're done after we get our like little bit of dopamine. But then that leaves us with no depth in our relationships, right? Like we don't even have to hang out with someone or call them or like talk to them for any amount of time in order to get that little tiny bit of dopamine and that little bit of social fulfillment that we're craving. And that works in the short term, like the very short term, but then over the long term, I think that leads to like a very deep sense of like not feeling fulfilled, right? I think another reason is we're like less in touch with ourselves at the same time, you know? So we're less, and this is also like as a result of like digital, like the digital world, I think we're less in touch with ourselves. So like now we're more distracted than ever. So I'll write that too. We're more distracted than ever before. Like anytime you have any sort of urge, just like with having like an urge to reach out socially, you have the urge to not be bored all the time. And so you just pull out your phone, or like you go on your computer and you play a game. I don't know, you maybe you read a book. Like there's literally an endless amount of things that you could do with the internet, right? Which makes it so easy to not think about your own situation, not think about what you need to do, what you're feeling, even just ignore your feelings. Like we're so not in touch with ourselves because of how much we're looking at screens and distracting ourselves. I think that's also a big reason why it's so hard right now. And honestly, I could go on with this. I think there's a lot of reasons why it's hard now too, but it also begs the question as well of, is it harder now? Is it harder now to achieve it than it was at any time before? Like, do we feel like fulfillment now is harder, or do we feel like we just think it's harder because we're dealing with it? I find that to be an interesting question, and I actually don't have a good answer for that. I don't have a good answer, so I'm wondering if anyone else does. Is it harder now to feel fulfillment than it was like generations before us? Is it harder now? Maybe we'll save this question too for later. Than it was for generations before us. I think that's an interesting question. If not, then why was I even born to begin with? Okay. I want to justify my own existence as a way of making sense of it. Interesting. Man, there's a lot of things I could ask you about this. Yeah, I have no sympathy for anyone complaining about being bored. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that someone could do to not feel bored. You know, the internet, there's literally an endless amount of information. But things are just so easy. Things are so easy for us to do, so easy for us to get access to, right? And I think that's part of the reason why it's another reason why it's hard to feel fulfilled. Like things are just easier to do. Things are just easier, right? So there's like a lot of things where it used to be challenging before, it's not challenging to do them anymore. And I think that's getting even worse with like AI. Like AI can just do things for us now, right? And it was the same with the internet. Like when the internet came out, like it was a lot harder to do like a research paper when there was no internet. You know what I mean? So things have just gotten easier over time, which makes things less challenging. So it feels like maybe there's less of a payoff when you accomplish something. right? I think human connection is very important for fulfillment in general, and these days connection is more fragmented than ever. Exactly. I just realized my camera is covering up part of the screen here. So let me make myself a little smaller. Boom. Yeah, exactly. It's this, like I was saying with social media, like you're just giving a very small snippet of dopamine to yourself. Well, actually, honestly, it's a big amount of dopamine for a very small thing you're doing, and the easiest thing you could possibly do, right? So like if you go on Instagram, you see someone's picture from like an acquaintance from back in the day and you just like it, like you're gonna get a reward for that in your brain. You're gonna be like, wow, okay, I interacted with this person. But does that have any meaning to you down the line? Like, are you gonna get off of Instagram in a bit and be like, oh yeah, like I'm so glad I liked that photo of John. Man, really like that guy. So glad I did that, you know? And John's also not going to give a fuck about you liking his post, you know? So yeah, I think it's important to deepen your relationships in a meaningful way, not just you know, whatever's easiest. Like for like, dude, follow for follow. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to your message before, which was because if not, then why was I even born to begin with? So I think there's a lot that you could do with this, all right? I feel like there's a lot of questions you could ask yourself. And maybe you already have asked yourself these questions, and I'm just asking and I don't know that you've done this already. But like you could keep on asking why types of questions to yourself and maybe get to like the core of all of it. Why do you have a want to justify your own existence? Do you need that? Do you need to justify your own existence? Or can you just simply like be a dude who lived? And that's it. Like you just lived, you were comfy. I don't know. Like, does your existence have to matter to other people in order for it to matter in general? You know? So many questions you could ask with that. Very interesting though. And honestly, this is one of the reasons I started with values, was because I thought my thought process was, okay, so in order to feel like just better in general about your life, you have to live the way you are wanting to, right? So the idea behind the 4 core values is you pick these values that are hypothetically like very important to you, right? And if you choose to focus on these values and actively live by them each day, it should, in theory, make you feel better about how you're living, right? Because you are living by what you want to be living by. And therefore, right, feel like slightly more fulfilled. Maybe. That's the goal that was the goal with starting with that. And then that's why we started talking about fulfillment next. And then, I should put this on here too. I wrote this down. I feel like there is a loss of critical thinking skills. And this is also related to AI, especially with AI now. I feel like it's just going to get worse with critical thinking because, yeah, and again, this goes back to the first experiment with the 4 core values, because everyone had a different answer, right? No two people are going to have like the same exact 4 values. Or I mean, if we had a ton of people, maybe we'd have some people that had the same ones, but the odds of it happening are very small, even with a lot of people. And so it was important for each of us to look at what we wanted in particular, because if you're not thinking for yourself, if you're not like looking inward, then you're looking outward for answers and trying to get answers from someone else, and that's never going to work for you individually. Like, you're never going to listen to someone else and they're going to say, hey, this is what you need to do to feel fulfilled. Like, oh, step 1, step 2, step 3, and boom, you're done. Now you're fulfilled. It's never going to work. And it's like a reason why I don't believe in like a lot of self-help stuff and like the gurus that are out there as well, because there's no one answer for everyone, right? It's everyone has their like own individual thing, and you have to have critical thinking in order to do it. Geez, I could make a whole video about critical thinking and like how, like, especially with politics and stuff too, how now people, they just associate themselves with like an identity, right? And it's not just with politics, but let's use politics as an example, because it's just like so rampant. So like, let's say you are a Republican. If you're a Republican, you are also now a conservative, which didn't used to be the case. Like, not even like 50 years ago, that wasn't the case. Back in the days, it used to be you could be like a Democrat or a Republican, and you could have both values. You could have conservative values and liberal values at the same time, and that was okay. Like, people were allowed to think critically about the issues and decide what they wanted for themselves. And depending on how many of those issues they agreed with, they would call themselves like a Republican or a Democrat, right? Now, if you're a political leader, you are a Republican and you have all conservative values, and it's like almost unacceptable to even have one that is a liberal idea, right? And it's not just with Republicans, obviously. It's the same with Democrats, right? If you're a Democrat, you have to have all liberal values. And you see this even with just normal people. Like, on social media, it's become so radicalized where you are either on one team or you are on the other, and there is no overlap, like fucking no overlap. And if you are one of these people that has like maybe a bit of understanding on one side and a bit of understanding on the other, and you vocalize that, people are pissed. Like, people are just mad that you have an opinion, right? It's crazy, right? So I feel like we are losing our critical thinking skills. And so with fulfillment, how this ties into fulfillment is you need to be able to think, okay, well, what is fulfillment for me? Like, what does that look like for me? How can I achieve it? What are the ways I can achieve it personally? And again, you can't find it from someone else. Like, you have to look internally for yourself, right? I think that's another reason why it's hard. It's harder now because people are losing the skill to think in that way. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied with just existing. So much of what makes my life enjoyable is art, film, games, story, etc., created by people. Those creators/artists are important to me, though I will never know or meet them. I want to be that for people after me. Interesting. Ultimately, nothing matters, but I am so terrified of death, okay, that I can at least try to stave off the second death or I'd go crazy. Okay, that's valid. That's valid. Yeah, I have more questions. But I don't want to keep digging into it too much. I can if you don't, if you'd like, I could keep digging into it. Yeah, politics is the land of false dichotomies, right? Yes. But yeah, interesting. So it sounds like you're scared of death. So in order to like immortalize yourself in a sense, you would like to be remembered in some way. Is that right? And in that way, like, you don't truly die. Or maybe that makes the concept of death easier for you or like more bearable. Yeah. Yeah, that I mean that kind of tracks if that's your line of thinking. Don't want to steal too much of the focus. Oh no, you're good. You're good, man. I enjoy asking people these questions. This is like why I'm doing it, you know? Makes it more bearable. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. I guess my next question would be like, why is it so scary for you then? Why is the concept of death so scary? And along with that, like if death is so scary for you, and the reason why you were like seeking like a sense of like legacy and to like immortalize yourself, does that actually make the concept of death easier for you, or are you still scared after that? Like, does that help? Most people have kids and that's how they get remembered. I think a lot of people have kids. I don't know if everyone thinks like, okay, I'm having a child and therefore like I will live on through my child. I don't think everyone has that train of thought, but I know a lot of people do as well. But yeah, I don't know if I agree with it. Like, just because you have kids means you're going to be remembered, because like, sure, like you're passing on DNA, right? But it's not you, you know? It's not really you. And a lot of like, you know, I don't remember all of my ancestors, you know? Like, I'm sure a lot of them are forgotten, like just permanently. And that's fine, you know? I don't mean that's their reason, but it has an effect on it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So, is it harder to feel fulfillment now than it was for generations before us? I don't have a great answer for this, so I'm going to say I don't have a great answer for this. But I would say my gut instinct for is it harder now is yes. But gut instinct says yes. Yes, it is, because of the reasons above that I put. I'll just say because of above reasons. I think it is. I mean, it would at least last a few generations. Yeah, it would last a little bit. Yeah, like you know, maybe your grandkids, and then maybe like your grandkids remember you and like talk about you a little bit after you're gone to like people who don't know you. But then I imagine it ends there for most people, you know? Unless you did something like crazy significant with your life, right? Like maybe you did I don't know, maybe you were famous for something and you're talked about in that way. Youngest person, I'll be the last to die, and then we're all forgotten in once. Did you just have like an existential crisis? I feel like you did with that one. With that message right there. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. All right. I do have a couple more questions we could talk about. So with this, but I feel like I kind of want to move on to the next question because we've been on number 2 for a while. So yeah, let's do that. What do you think a fulfilled life might look like? And that's not just like a general question. That's more of a you question. When you think about what your fulfilled life looks like, I'm going to reword that. What do you think your fulfilled life might look like or could look like, right? When you think about yourself in the future, and can you see yourself being fulfilled? And if you can, what is going on? Like, what are you doing? What has happened that has gotten you to that point? So like Cork, for you, you said you've done this project And maybe when you've done this project, you have this like deep sense of fulfillment. Is there anything else that may have happened? Like perhaps maybe the journey itself, like would that be part of it, like you mentioned before? For me, when I think of what a like fulfilled life looks like, and again, this is like tying back to the first experiment, um, living in accordance with values, with your chosen core values. I feel like if every day I'm doing that, then I'm at least feeling good about the way I'm living. And I feel like that's very important for me to feel fulfilled, right? Another thing is having like a meaningful like a meaningful career, or like a way of living, of like sustaining myself, right? So like something where I feel like what I'm doing is like having some sort of impact. I feel like that is also something I would have if I was fulfilled. And then meaningful relationships. So maybe that's like a close circle of friends. Maybe like a supportive partner. Good relationship with family. Like that sort of stuff, right? And I feel like I honestly feel like that's probably it. Like I feel like that's probably it. And looking at it, it's like, well, why does it feel impossible? It feels impossible because of this one right here, meaningful career. I could talk about that one more, but I feel like it's really hard for me to find meaning in things that I just do. So yeah, it feels impossible. It feels impossible for that reason. Nah, the crisis has been ongoing. I will remember you, Dill. Oh, whoa. Does that do anything for me? Yeah, it did. Just nodded a little. Let me answer that seriously though. I need to think for a second. Okay, so like if I died and let's say you remembered me for the rest of your life and that had some sort of impact, I would like to say in this moment, clean up on aisle 3. I would like to say in this moment that feels nice. It's like, okay, I had like an impact on a person and it was like a good one, and maybe it helped them in some way, right? But I'm also okay with if no one remembered me, I would also be okay with that. I would feel like because one, I'm dead, right? So I'm not going to be feeling anything. But before I die, like when thinking about it now, I think like in the grand scheme of things, if all I did during my life was like be the best person I could be and no one remembered me, I feel like I still had like some sort of positive impact, and that's enough. Like that's good enough, you know? So it doesn't like necessarily upset me or make me feel like any type of way if no one remembered me. That's my thought process on it. Well, that's really good then that you're happy with that. that's okay. I laughed at that response because it reminds me of one time I was talking with my ex-girlfriend, and we were discussing why, like literally this. We were discussing like fulfillment and why it feels so hard to achieve fulfillment, right? And Oh man. And so I remember she responded with something where it was just like, nah, like I'm just like happy. She was like, I'm just like happy. Like my baseline is I'm just happy. Like I wake up happy. And I just remember being like, well, fucking good for you. That's awesome. And I was like, that's not how I am though. And I feel like that's kind of like baked into your answer a little bit, where you're like, fucking great for you. Sick. It's sick that you don't have to think about that, but I do. So yeah, that's why I laughed at that. My goal is either to be remembered. You didn't mean it that way? No, 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 no. Like I didn't mean it the way I said it either. Like I didn't respond to my ex-girlfriend being like, "Oh, well, fucking good for you," you know. I was like, I said it much nicer, you know. I was like, well, that's you know, that's great. But in my experience, like this is what I go through, right? And so I explained like why I felt the way I felt, and I also understood the way she felt. But in my head, I was like, damn, I wish I was like that, you know? uh, yeah, yeah. Goal is either to be remembered or to stop needing to be. Interesting. I wonder if you put more thought into the latter part of the question. If you could also find a similar sense of meaning or fulfillment from that, you know? Like I wonder if you like kept yourself a little bit open-minded about it, like how that, and it's perfectly valid if you just stay with the first part, which is you want to be remembered and that is important to you, so therefore you're just going to do it, you know? Cool, so happy for you, piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah. It kind of has that energy, right? Anyways, so back to it. So this is what it would look like for me. What would it look like for you guys? Uh, your fulfilled life. I know. Cork said the big project, being remembered. Um, I'll put Cork next to this. Being remembered. Big project accomplished. Big art project. And out in the world, done. Easy. All right. So yes, all right. I guess another question we could answer is, what emotions do you think you would feel if you were living a fulfilled life? I feel like this is a hard question to answer. What emotions? Let's make this number 4, actually. What emotions would you be feeling if you were living this fulfilled life that you have pictured yourself as? This goes back to my definition. I would be feeling like a sense of contentment. I would say like peace is another emotion that comes up immediately. I'm honestly not coming up with much more. I feel like it's just maybe a sense of accomplishment, I think, but not in the sense that I have accomplished a lot of things. It's more so in the sense that I imagine I would feel good that I got to the point where I feel fulfilled, because I know it would take a lot of effort to reach that, whether I accomplished a lot of things in the conventional like success sense or not. So that's what I mean by sense of accomplishment. I don't know what I'm trying to think. Maybe a bit of love as well. I feel like a lot of people, when I think of people who seem to be fulfilled. It seems like they have like a depth of love. So I'll put that in there as well. Is there anything else that you guys can imagine? Like, what would you guys be feeling here? I think at this stage, it feels like it would be defeat, like I'm just giving up, and then rationalizing why that's okay. But then when I'm older, my perspective would totally change, and I hope I do become content with being forgotten. It would be a lot less stressful. Yes, yes. Because you're not having to worry about it, and you're not scared, which is just like, okay, yeah, it's less stressful. But I can also see it feeling like a defeat. Okay, so feels like you're just giving up and rationalizing why that's okay. Why, I guess my question with that is, why wouldn't it be okay to why would it not be okay to like not be remembered? You'd feel like you're water and things just flow right through you. You'd be unfazed by anything. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I agree with that. So Cork said you'd feel like water. Things just flow right through you, unfazed. Is it unfazed or unfazed? Isn't it unfazed by anything? Is that a word? Unfazed with an F? I need to know. Define unfazed. It is a word. What? Unfazed. Today I learned. Wow. All right. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people too, like, for some reason, fictional characters come up for me when I think of people who are fulfilled as well, because I think, like, there's Uncle Iroh, right? You got Uncle Iroh. He's just a guy in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Um, but he is fazed by things, though. He is fazed by things. Like, there are still things that are important to him. I don't know, but he also has that aura of like, if something happens, he's just chill with it, unless it is something like very, very important or meaningful to him that goes wrong. Yeah. Or like another example from like One Piece would be like Shanks. Like, if anything happens to him, he's just like, I don't give a shit. But if it happens to like someone he cares about, then he's like, okay, square up. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, yeah. It's a lot to think about with this. A lot to think about. Okay. And I think last question I want to ask with this um, is there anything right now that gives you a sense of fulfillment? For me, relationship with my parents, that gives me a sense of fulfillment. I would also say this streaming currently, and I wouldn't say it gives me a sense of fulfillment quite yet. It feels close, but I also feel like I'm missing something, and I haven't like yet introspected enough to figure out why. Um, but it feels like I'm close, is what I'm trying to say. Streaming currently about growth, journey, mental health stuff. Feels close to a sense of fulfillment, but also feels like I'm missing something. All right. Yeah, yeah. All right. Oops. Phase is like a stage in a process, while phase is like to disturb. I feel like I should know that. Like, that's not something I feel like I should have figured out at the ripe age of 28, you know? You talking Avatar? I bought the whole series on Blu-ray. Shit. I'm going to watch it soon for the first time. Ooh, nice. I actually just rewatched it, which is why I keep like talking about Avatar. And Iroh is one of my favorite characters. Yeah. I don't want to spoil any of it for you, so but yeah, it's a nice watch. It's a nice watch. Like, I think a lot of people who watched it as a kid kind of like glaze it super hard because they have that like nostalgic factor to it. And I'm not sure if I would like it as much as I do without having that nostalgic factor. So I feel like I'm biased when I say how much I like Avatar. So just keep that in mind too. Like, I don't know how much you'll like it as a new viewer, but I still feel like it's an enjoyable watch. And honestly, it's not that long in comparison to like a lot of these other shows. So yeah, I feel like you'll at least enjoy yourself. I didn't mean it would be a defeat to be forgotten. I mean, if I decided that right now, it would mean giving myself an excuse to give up on my project. Ah, I see. It's like a way. Yeah, it's like you're taking the coward's way out is how you're conceptualizing it a little bit. Like, if you were to say, okay, it doesn't mean anything if I if I don't need to be remembered, then I don't really need to do like this massive big project. And that also sorry, I get really interested in people. So like when people are talking, I do this in person too, when people are like talking about something they're really interested in, I just like start asking them questions, like, because I'm interested in hearing like what their answer is and like how they think and what they're like interested in. So I just like naturally keep asking questions. Okay, what was the question? Now I forgot the question I was even gonna ask. It would mean I'm giving up on myself as an excuse. Yeah, so damn it, I forgot my question. I'll come back to it though. I'll remember it. It's been recommended to me enough times, and the Blu-ray was cheap enough that I went ahead and blind bought it. Nice, but I won't have crazy expectations. Yeah, I wouldn't go into it being like, this is gonna be the best show ever, like everyone's recommending it, because I think a lot of people have like a very skewed perspective because it was like a childhood thing. It honestly reminds me of Pokemon in a way. Like, I feel like Pokemon is actually kind of a garbage game. Like, it actually kind of blows. But because a lot of people played it as a kid, like, they say how great Pokemon is, they talk about like the first games and stuff. They still play it now, even though like they haven't like invented anything new, I feel like, for a long time. You know, listening while at the car shop. Hey, well, thank you for the lurk, Adri. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Hopefully it's going well. Hopefully it's going well with your car and everything. But yeah. What was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. But yeah, let me try and remember that question again. I mean, if I decided that right now, I would be giving up on myself as an excuse. Huh. Okay, now you're hitting a subject I have things to say about. Oh no, was it Pokemon? Oh boy. I'm sorry. Did I did I strike a nerve with you? My bad. Watched it as an adult and it's great. No way. Fantastic lives up to the hype. Okay, so I've actually only talked to a few people who didn't watch it as a kid and watched it as first timers as an adult. And they've all kind of given me the same thing except for you, which was like, yeah, I mean, it's good, but it wasn't like the most amazing thing I've ever seen, which is what like everyone else has told me to expect. So yeah, it's interesting. It's good to hear that there's, I just figured, well, I must be biased because like I have the nostalgic factor. Has a lot of really good themes in it that adults relate to. True. personally, I think, and this is obviously like just my opinion, I think Prince Zuko has one of the best character arcs of all time, period. Like, if not the best. Like, just has one of the best arcs ever. Yes. Yes. And like something I related to, I don't relate to it quite as much anymore, but something I related to that is actually mental health related. From Zuko, there's this moment where they're like all sitting around a campfire. And I brought this up in therapy like a year or two ago. I don't remember when, but I brought it up in therapy at some point. Where he is like people are like bombing him with questions. They're like, well, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? Like, what are you so upset about? And he's like, I don't know. And then like all of a sudden he's like, I'm angry with myself, and he like screams it, and he like makes the fire like go up super high, and he just like has this like huge moment of release. Oh my God. I related to that so much. At one point. And even still, like there's times where I think about that. And I'm like, damn, I really be Zuko right now. But yeah, it has a lot of cool moments like that where it's like you can still relate to it. And when I was a kid, I didn't quite understand a lot of those moments too. But yeah. Wow. So maybe it is as good as people are saying, and the other people just have L takes. I don't know. You'll have to find out, Cork. You'll have to find out and let us know what you actually thought about it. New Pokemon. Oh, here we go. New Pokemon games have been so bad for so long that it tricks you into thinking it was always like that. But the first 2 generations were straight up the best video games on the Game Boy. You're talking like Yellow, like Game Boy Color ones. Gold, Silver are among the greatest game sequels ever made. It's only Gen 3 and beyond where quality starts to drop. I'm a big fan of Gen 4, but that's also the first ones I played. So when I went back and started playing like the older versions, I was like, yes, like this is cool, but it's also just scratching the same itch that Gen 4 would have with Pokemon, you know? I just feel like they did the same formula over and over again to the point where it's like, this is the same game and we're now like 20 years later, you know? I feel like the first time they actually like reinvented things a little bit was with Arceus. Like they did Arceus and I was like, oh, okay. Like this is kind of new. And that was kind of interesting. But then they just went back into the same formula again for like the next however many games. So I don't know. I feel like Pokemon is kind of overhyped, you know? I feel like the nostalgia factor is kind of what has kept Pokemon going for so long, as well as new kids playing it. So then they get hit with the nostalgia, like the same thing that we did when we were kids, and they think it's great. Like was the first Pokemon game you played the first 2 generations? Because I feel like if those were the first ones I played, I would probably think the same thing about the first 2 gens. But since my first one I played was either the 3rd or 4th gen, those are the ones I like the best. Like my favorite one is Fire Red. It was the first one I played. That's the only reason, you know? You stopped following after first gen. Wow, crazy. That's crazy. I feel like that takes a lot of willpower to only play like 1 gen and then you're just done. That's it. I feel like most people like they just had hope for like 4, 5, 6 generations. I think I finally gave up on it myself. I think I gave up like partway into it was Black and White 2 for I think it was the 3DS. That's when I was like, all right, like this is the same damn game. First 2 gens are the first 2 I played, but I also have legit actual reasons I can point to. Well, hey, let me know. Tell me about it. Give me your reasons. mean, I had N64 and Game Boy Color, and so I just didn't really follow after that. Wasn't much on purpose. Makes sense. Yeah. I didn't have Game Boy Color. I don't remember why. I don't know if I just like wasn't allowed to have one or what. But my first like system I got was Game Boy Advance. So that's why the first ones I played weren't the color versions. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually gonna full screen my face because we're just talking now. Welcome back to PokeB Mondays. It's PokeB Monday. Yeah, and actually, with that being said, I have to leave for dinner soon, so I do want to wrap things up here. So yeah, let's see. Did we have any questions that we want to research for next stream? So I think one question I had, I feel like I wrote it above somewhere. I did. Okay. Is it harder now? Because again, remember next stream, we're gonna be researching live what fulfillment means, as per like research says, right? And then also, what are the different ways that people get to a sense of fulfillment? Like, how do they achieve it? Is it different for different groups of people, right? Like, is it the same in the West as it is in the East, for how people feel fulfillment? What do they have in both of those areas, right? So we're gonna be asking like those sorts of things, right? And then also, what do we need to do individually to achieve a sense of fulfillment? What can we try? So basically, we're going to be prepping ourselves for the week after, which is when we're going to start our experiment with fulfillment, right? So we're going to start by researching these things for an experiment that we want to try out, okay? So I don't know what the experiment's going to be, and that's intentional. So it's going to be something related to fulfillment, but I don't know what. We're basically going to find out how people are fulfilled, and then based off of that, come up with an experiment the following week to test it out on ourselves and see if it works for us. And again, I don't imagine it's going to work for everyone who does the experiment. I don't think every person who tries every experiment that we do is going to come out of it and say, oh yeah, like that was amazing, like that was life-changing or something like that. I imagine for a lot of people that try some of these experiments is going to be like, yeah, that didn't really do much for me, and that's perfectly fine. And that gives you information to try other things, though. So it's more about like going in a direction than it is about finding the answers right away or like getting a result. But yeah, that's basically what we're trying to do, right? So questions for next stream that we want to research. Is it harder this generation to find, oh wait, did I not full screen? I did not full screen. Is it harder to this generation to find fulfillment than it was for previous generations? Then also, what does fulfillment look like? Also, if you guys have questions about fulfillment that you would like to have researched next week when we're actually doing it, drop it in the chat real quick. What does fulfillment look like for different groups of people? Like, for example, is the Western concept of fulfillment the same as the East? As the Eastern concept? I imagine they are not. Like, that's my what I'm thinking in my head, but maybe they are. I don't know. That's something I want to have answered. And then I guess the most obvious question, right, is like, what do most people need? People need scientifically to feel fulfilled in their lives. Okay. So those are like the three basic ones I'm coming up with here. What is your stream schedule? Stream schedule right now is every Monday we have what is today, which is Menti B Monday, baby. And usually that is roughly 2 hours long. And it usually starts at 6, but today is the exception. I started at 2 because I'm going to dinner. It's my dad's birthday, so I just started stream early today. But usually it's at 6. Usually it's at 6 on Mondays. And then on Saturdays, also at 6 p.m. Eastern, I do like a chill gaming stream a lot of times. So usually it's like Dead by Daylight. We just hang out. It's more of like a, you know, you do mental health for a bit. You just want to kind of have a time to relax and hang out and have a good time. That's what Saturday is for. But yeah, just 2 days, Monday at 6 p.m. And Saturday, 6 p.m. But the mental health one is Saturday, if that's like all you're interested in. Should I start focusing on core value number 2 this week, or do we stay on number 1 still? Great question. So now you just go to number 2. You don't keep focusing on number 1. You just brand new focus. Number 2. You just go to number 2. Bring your test tubes, because this experiment's gonna be a good one. I hope so. I genuinely think the experiments that we have lined up are gonna be good. Like, I feel like even if we don't get exactly what we hope for out of them, I think it will give us a lot of information about ourselves, which is like really the goal. Oof, that first one is definite yes. Good questions to think on. Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah, the first one, I feel like it's harder now. That's my like gut instinct. And that's kind of what we discussed a little bit ago, was I feel like it's a bit harder now than it has been before. And there's a lot of reasons. I didn't even write all the ones that I could think of, but these were the ones that we thought of, which was like, we're now just like more aware of the concept of fulfillment, right? So we are aware that it exists, and a lot of us realize that we don't have it. And then people are more lonely now, right? Social media, our depth in our relationships are not as intense as they were. And we're less in touch with ourselves than ever because there's so many distractions everywhere, so many screens. And also things are just easier, like it's just less challenging. And then there's a loss of critical thinking skills, which I feel like I could really go into that. Happy your dad's birthday, Bob. I'll tell him you said that too, by the way. I will tell him. Thank you. Nice. Happy birthday, Dad, too. I'll tell him you said it too. Boom. What's got you into talking about mental health? Personal experience or training? Both. Not training, actually. That's a lie. But personal experience for sure. But I said training, like I said yes to training for a second because I've been in therapy for so long. Since I was like a teenager, since I was 15, I started therapy. And I've struggled with major depressive disorder for a really long time. I mean, I still do. So since I've been in therapy for so long, and since I've talked about it so much, and since I've worked with my own mental health for so long, I have found that I feel like I can actually help other people with their mental health because I have worked on my own so fucking much. So like a lot of times when someone's like, hey, I'm having this issue, this is like something it'll be something that I've either like already kind of dealt with before, or something I have thought about like in a great amount of depth, so I can like ask them the right questions to get them to the point where they need to be. And so like, yeah, I feel like I have things to offer, even though I'm not like a professional, if that makes sense. And I just have a lot of experience with it, like anecdotally, but I'm not like a professional by any means, or like have training. I've already mastered value number 1, so that's good. Yep, 1 weekend and I have mastered my value of integrity. Easy. Also, a society that teaches us that what we have is never enough. Consumerism, yes, very true, very true. Materialism, capitalism, baby, never ends. We got to keep growing, right? Got to have more. The hedonic treadmill. He doesn't know who we are. It teaches lack and inadequacy in order to buy more. I feel that. So you know. You learn so much in therapy, just practical skills. Yes. Yes. You learn about yourself. And I feel like a lot of times the more you know about yourself, the more it connects to other people too. So while you're learning about yourself, you're also learning about like other people's potential issues, or like, I don't know. I feel like you're able to connect better with other people the more you've connected with yourself in a way. I'm going to type that on last year's iPhone. Got to get out and upgrade to the new one. Okay, I heard something about that. You're going to have to fill me in on that. But I saw like a headline or something about how like Apple screwed up the keyboard. And I don't know anything about it. But that's all I know about it, is that they screwed up the keyboard. I feel like we're very similar in that way. Ask the questions to explore the answers without giving them. Yes, I feel like that's the only way to do it, honestly, because I was saying this before. I don't know if you were in at this point. But I feel like there's no person that can just tell you, okay, like if you just do step 1, 2, and 3, you're going to feel fulfilled or something like that. Right. And it's the same with like anything, like even if it's, like I made this example, I think in my first stream, but like, even like what you like on pizza, like someone could say to you, or actually let's just use Avatar. It's like, someone might say, hey, Avatar is like the best show ever. Like, go watch it. You have to go see it. Then you go watch it and it's like, that wasn't like that great. It wasn't the best show or whatever. But you don't know until you actually do the experience yourself. So like you can ask questions and get them to their own answer. And I feel like that's the only way you can do it. You know? It's the only way that someone can get to the actual answer that they need, because they're doing it on their own. Or trying it, you know? Still on my iPhone 8. Sheesh. Wow, that's impressive. iPhone 8. Where I have to talk on speaker so I don't sound muffled to the other line. I refuse to have another bill. I respect that. I keep my phone until like it is literally breaking or impeding my daily life, like with how bad it is. So right now I have an iPhone 12, which I feel like is honestly kind of old already. And before that I had the 6. And my 6, they stopped updating it. So it like wasn't working properly. The apps weren't working, like they wouldn't open some of them. So I was like, okay, like I actually have to get an upgrade now. And so that is the point in which I will get an upgrade. Yeah. Hey, David, wish Papa Corey another happy birthday for me. Sorry I'm late. Hey, all good, all good. I'm just glad you showed up anyways. We're just wrapping up here because it was an early one. And I do have to go for dinner here in a second. Nice. Can you try to tie all of your points into Avatar, please? Honestly, I could. I feel like I could, since I just watched it. I rewatched it again. Like I just finished rewatching it like this week. Lead them in the direction they need. In this case, true. Avatar. Yep. Same. Not always upgrading my car either. No car note. And I will drive it till I can't no more. True. Yeah. I have an old car too. Like I'm not on board with like the consumerism stuff. I just get what I need and then I try to be like good with it, you know? Yes, that is the question of the day. My answer, David, was T, if you're interested. You were interested in answering that. All right. So I'm gonna put these questions in the Discord. I'll put it under, I don't know what to put it under actually. Maybe I'll put it under experiments. I don't think it belongs there. I'll have to figure it out. I'll have to figure out where I'm going to put the document we made today. If anyone wants to look at it, wants to answer it themselves, they can, or just like talk about it. I'll put the Discord in the chat, by the way, if anyone's interested in joining. Yeah, so we can continue the conversation there. But if not, if we don't want to continue the conversation, I will see you guys on Saturday for the Chill Game stream, and then we'll just pick up the research for this topic, for fulfillment, on Monday at our usual time, 6 p.m. Nice. Enjoyed hanging out. We'll stop by again soon. Good conversation. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. And hopefully I'll be able to catch a stream too when you're done with your hiatus and back in your normal setup. David, what the hell did you just type? All right, I'm going to try and raid someone. If you guys don't mind like sticking around for like another moment, I'm going to try and find someone to raid if I even see anyone I know. Hi, Adri. Hi. Thank you for redeeming. I have a bunch of like very cheap ones that I'm excited to use, like the Pengy Wave. I really enjoy having the Pengy Wave one. Those are ones you can just like use every stream, you know. All right, let's see. Let me see if there's anyone I know that is online streaming. If not, we'll just end, but let's see. Okay, I have one person I know that is online. So we're gonna raid Sainty. Sainty is a Dead by Daylight streamer. She's amazing, super friendly, fun to talk to. Just a really great vibe. So we're gonna raid her. So yeah, I would appreciate if you guys just go in, just say hello or something. It could be anything, or you could copy this message. That also works. But yeah, I will see you guys. I will see you guys next Saturday if you're interested in the gaming stream. If not, I'll see you on Monday. Thank you for the welcome. No, thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. All right. What's supposed to be a that was supposed to be a Twitch emote? Close. Thank you for the stream. Being here was worth maybe getting fired over. Yo, don't get fired for me. Jeez, man. All right. We're coming in hot with the raid. Coming in hot. See you guys. Much love.
This monolith that just appeared in the middle of the Moab desert, and as they were like studying it and like trying to figure it out, one night it just disappeared. We have snow in the forecast for this weekend. I'm gonna cry. No, you don't. Wait, it's Christmas. Dale, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. How was your stream? Thank you for sharing your community with me. Hi, T. Hi, Uber. Welcome. How have I not heard of this? Yeah, look it up. Look up Utah I think it's called Utah Monolith. Pretty wild.